Why don't ants get sick?
Because ants can't move the rubber tree plant.
Well,
No,
please tell us why.
because they have little antibodies.
Oh,
I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
that's bad
Well,
pandemic humor.
welcome back, weekenders, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Weekend from A to Z. This is episode number blah blah blah, and it goes is the weekend up to February the 1st, 2021. I messed up there because I used to do the episode numbers, then I got off track somewhere and just stopped doing them. It's another episode. So yeah, this episode covers the weekend up to February the 1st, 2021. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to email us at theweekenda2z@gmail.com. You can find us on Facegram and Instant Book at A to Z Weekend. Past that, anchor.fm/A to Z Weekend, where you will find all 11 locations for our podcast. I think there's a 12th one I can actually add.
Ooh, well,
Yeah, I was
JT, you'll
looking.
still think it's 13 for some
I
reason.
know. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm Justin.
I'm Alan.
Hey, I'm Scott.
What's
Yeah.
going on, fellers?
Let's see what I got for news.
Tech news.
Where did I put my news? Did I delete it?
Oh, I can't edit this out. While y'all are looking that up,
Delete it.
a little product placement for Brian Towers, Towers Transport Company. So yeah, shout out to Tech
Go for
Brian.
it. Right on. What does he transport?
Food, cold food.
So not like the transporter.
No, not well.
See,
I may have to look into this now that you mentioned that.
is he Jason Statham? Does he like to drive BMWs?
They have the same. They have the same type of hairstyle. So you know.
So do I. That doesn't mean I transport things.
All right, fair enough.
Fair enough.
I don't know what happened to my news. I guess I deleted it all, dude. This is terrible. Okay, so so some other news we can cover. The whole GameStop, GameStonks. What's going on with the mess? So apparently GameStop stock was what, like $4 or something, and then
No, not that low.
No.
Nowhere near that low.
It was low.
No, it was GameStop was trading around between like $16 and $18 a share.
Okay,
Which
and
is
it jumped up to like 335.
so what? So this is you want the simple answer? You want the simple purview of what all went down?
Let's do it.
Okay, so basically what these hedge funds were trying to do is they were trying to short these stocks, which basically means they are going to borrow these stocks from someone else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to borrow these stocks so it'd be like me going to you and borrowing $10 from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll borrow let's see, what can we do? I will borrow some game from you, right?
Okay.
Well, the what they're trying to do is they're trying to sell these. What they have to do is they have to take the money, they have to pay these stocks back, they have to give these stocks they borrowed back, right?
Mhm.
So basically what they're doing is they're taking the money and they're making a bet with this stock. So I'm going to bet your game that this thing is going to go down in value. I have to return this to you regardless, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to make a bet that it's going to go down in value. So I got it over for free. I'm going to make a bet that it's going to go down to $7. Goes down to $7. I get that I get the difference in the price that it goes down, right? So I make $3, right? And then I give it back to you. I buy. Okay, so
sounds so dirty.
It sounds really shady.
Yeah. So I borrow I borrow the game from you. I sell it to a store, right?
Mhm.
And my guess is I'm gonna sell it to the store, and I'm gonna make a bet that I'm gonna sell it to them for $10, right?
Okay.
I'm making a bet that within a period of time, I can go back and buy that same game for less than I sold it for.
Okay.
So I'm making a bet that I can get it for $7, right?
Instead of 10. Yeah.
So I go and I buy it back at $7.
Mhm.
I've made $3, and I hand you back the same thing that you gave to me for free. Does that make sense?
So
How is this
shady.
legal?
So what happened with this? It's called a short sell, and it's been going on forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
So what happened is these hedge funds said GameStop is going down. GameStop does not have the right business model to live in the world that we're in right now. And they don't have it because they don't hardware. I mean, the only thing they're selling now is hardware. There are, most
Everything's
of the
going
games are
digital. Yeah.
everything's digital downloads, blah 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 blah. So these
Games are
hedge
too big
funds,
for discs. Yeah.
so these hedge funds come back and they say this is going to go down. And not only do they say that it's going to go down, they win because these are the big wigs and the muckety mucks that have all of the money and they kind of say what happens on Wall Street. People listen to them. So people start if they say, well, GameStop's going down, people start selling off the stock, which forces that price down,
Mm.
right? To get it where they want.
Yeah.
Well, these guys on Reddit who have had this same Reddit page since 2012, excuse me.
Hedge fund bets or something.
I
forget what it's called.
Wall Street bets, something like
Wall Street
that.
bets. Yeah.
So they decide they don't want this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what they do is they start driving the price up. The problem is for the hedge funds, they have to give that stock back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're
And
hoping to give it back at a loss.
They're hoping to
right?
give it back so they make money on it, right?
Yes. And they're not making money on it.
They have to buy it back because I owe you. So back in that game situation, right? So if I sold it to a store and I thought it was going to go to $7 and it goes to 15,
Mm-hmm.
I have to buy that game back at 15 and hand it back to you.
Okay.
So what these guys did, so what these guys on Reddit did is they forced the price of this stock up so much that these hedge funds went bust. The hedge funds were saying that were going to buy more stock than actually exists.
Yeah.
So there was one hedge fund that went out. I think they were worth $3 billion and they lost it all. The next day another hedge fund lent them $1 billion to help them out. They lost that too. So they killed one hedge fund. Another hedge fund that was worth $17 billion is now worth $16 billion, all in the span of 2 days.
Wow.
Good. Deserves that. That's not that. Dude, they can control anything that they want
And
make it go up or down.
The biggest issue with this is the fact that everybody now with GameStop and the simple way we're explaining it's much more complicated, right?
Yeah.
The big thing now with the way that this is happening is now Wall Street has fought for years against regulation because of stuff like, they're like, we don't need to be regulated. We need to be able to do these things. We need to make these big money moves, blah, blah, blah.
No.
And they fought the government on it for a long time. Well, they just got beat at their own game. And now the big wigs in these hedge funds are saying, okay, we need regulation now. Because with social media and the way that you can do things now, you can organize a large group of people to make a lot of small transactions that equal
people
into
to
something
the power
huge.
To the people. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. And they have a problem with it. And so just to let you know how kind of shitty and smarmy this stuff is. So beginning of pandemic, there was a guy, one of the hedge fund guys who was on it. Usually the big news for stock stuff comes from CNBC. Big hedge fund guy, head of a hedge fund, goes on CNBC and is talking about hotel stocks. It's time to dump your hotel stocks. Look at where we are in the pandemic. No one's traveling, no one is staying at hotels. You need the prices going down. You need to sell, drive these, you need to sell your stocks because they're going down. All of this makes perfect sense, right? That's what's going to happen. Except that he's on national news talking about this, talking about getting rid of these stocks when he has gone ahead and shorted those stocks and ends up making the hedge fund on the drop in hotel stocks for that week or whatever ended up making $2 billion because they were betting the other side of the ball.
Gotcha.
And that's what it is. It's the fact that now the people have the voice and the bigwigs aren't happy with it because we just killed a hedge fund. We just destroyed it, took it down to nothing.
Good.
So
Nice.
there's a lot of, and a lot of the apps and stuff where you can buy stock and trade stock and stuff like that.
We'll get to that.
They're putting limits on stock. They're
Oh,
putting
yeah.
they're putting all sorts of stuff on it. So the next big one that is supposed to be like this week that could possibly do something similar is AMC,
Yeah.
the movie theater company. So I went out last Friday and I bought some AMC stock. So we'll see what happens. I had money to play with, and it's not a whole heck of a lot of money, but we'll see if I can do anything with it.
Okay. Right on.
Because fuck them, that's why. Because fuck
Yeah.
'em.
So speaking of these apps that allow you to buy these stocks, so over the weekend, Robinhood went down to, I don't know, it was like 4 point something stars, and they went down to 1 star because of all the 1 star reviews that people were getting because of the limiting of buying a stock. Well, Google helped them and cleaned up. I want to say, if I read correctly, it was
100,000.
100,000 posts. They went
100,000
and deleted
1-star
them.
reviews. Yep.
Deleted 100,000 1-star reviews because of this. Well, today Robinhood has plummets back down to a 1-star rating on Google Play, and they're facing lots of lawsuits over the GameStop stock freeze.
Man,
Yeah, and that's
the Google thing.
go ahead.
I don't care if it's true or not, whatever. The control that the social media platforms are blocking, whatever, the freedom of speech, be it whatever. I don't know. I'm having a hard time with this on either side.
I think what you're trying to say is I agree. It's not right what they're doing because at any time they can change the rules and go, well, this is the new rule now. So I see what you're saying when it comes to, because you said freedom of speech, when it comes to freedom of speech, because they're not owned by the government, they can kind of do what they want. Does it make it right? No, I don't think it does make it right. At the same time, it makes it's right and wrong. It makes it right because they're a company. They can do whatever they want to do. If they want to change the rules tomorrow, they have the right to change the rules tomorrow. It's scary because they can do whatever they want to do and they can change the rules on a whim. If there's a rhetoric that's going and they don't like it, doesn't matter what side you're on. If they don't like, the sky is blue, and they decide tomorrow that they don't like the fact that everybody's saying, hashtag sky is blue is trending, they're going to go and wipe it all out and then block accounts based off of that, which is scary because that's the part that I don't like.
The part, the other part that, they're trying to block out hate speech and stuff. To be honest with you, I want to hear those people who are saying hate speech, because then I know who I'm dealing with. You can't. Hey, racism is here and it's always going to be here. You can't make someone not be a racist if that's what it is. At least with the opportunity of them being a dumbass on social media, I know who I'm dealing with now. Now you don't know who you're dealing with because we're supposed to keep our mouth. Wait, I say we. No, wait a minute. That's not me. I'm not. But
We hear what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't know.
So the difference is, the difference is, and this is what a capitalist society is, right? The difference is this is a business who has set terms and conditions, and they can violate them. If they say that you have violated them, then that's what happens. The way that you go about making that situation right, and it's not they can shut you off tomorrow. The way that you go about that is you have to go through the justice system, which turns really slowly. And that's the thing. A business does you wrong. What do? You can take them to court for damages, losses, all of that kind of stuff. They have, if they are found to be guilty of doing, of doing what you've said, then they have to reimburse you or repay you or do whatever. That's the way that our justice system works. It is not it doesn't move at the speed that they can take you off or do whatever, but it's the system that we have, and either we need to improve the system, or we have to improve. There is no other. We have to improve the system, and to make it work faster, to make it do what needs to be, to make it work the same way. Listen, I have friends that are cops. I have friends that are whatever, and I know that it's one of those things where if they pull someone over on a Friday night that they think that's been drinking, they will take them to jail, because you can beat the charge, but you can't beat the ride. And that's where we're at this point with all of this stuff. You can't beat the ride. You can't stop them from taking away whatever it is you want them to do. You have to beat it on the other side of things.
You want the barbecue sauce?
No barbecue sauce.
No, no barbecue sauce.
That came through loud and clear. No, but that's like it or not, that's the situation we're in. So we have to figure out the system or change the system to do whatever. And the issue that I have with hate speech and stuff like that is the fact that we don't know. Yeah, they can be dumbasses, but when you have a dumbass that has any sort of power that says something ridiculous, you don't know what crazy person is going to take it literally and seriously. Case in point, months ago.
Rudy Giuliani.
Case in point, months ago with Parler. I first heard about Parler, and then that Monday, I heard about Parler on a Sunday. Monday morning, there is a police chief in Arkansas that was telling people to kill Democrats, and if you see them in the town, push them off of curbs and throw drinks on them and shit like that. That's a chief of police saying that to the citizenry. If me as a crazy person, if I heard something like that, it was like, well, chief said to do this shit, so I'm gonna do it. I now have okay from an authority figure. And that's the problem. And that's the problem, is because you don't know who's going to say something that has power or has leverage behind their voice.
Shut it all down.
I mean, it's one of those things. Imagine listen, you go to church, you respect your pastor. If your pastor said something crazy,
like the other pastor in Frisco.
Well, let's say that your pastor said, everybody go to 7-Eleven and buy hot dogs. Well, the 7-Eleven doesn't ready for everybody to be there to have hot dogs, right? And everybody gets pissed off because pastor said go have hot dogs. People with power need to understand what they're saying. And the way that the wider world has to deal with this is they have to quell the speech that's coming over. And is it hate speech? Yeah, we're going to stop that. Is it false information? Yeah, we have to stop false information. It's that kind of stuff that's going on. I mean, I want them to stop flat earthers. Why? Because you're an idiot. It makes no sense. So, but yeah, that's they're getting into some trouble with Robinhood. The stock app was getting into a lot of trouble for dismissing stuff. The stock app that I use, I mean, they didn't say that you couldn't buy anything. What they put up were, this stock is volatile and is having big fluctuations.
Yeah.
So be careful. And I also had a thing where it was like, hey, because of heavier than expected trading, we're having, some purchases and sales might be delayed.
Yeah. Okay. iOS 14.5 tries to solve Face ID's mask problem with your I don't have it on with your Apple Watch. So basically, if you have so now that we have to wear masks all the time, or we're supposed to be anyways, you're forced to enter your passcode in all the time when you try to unlock your phone.
Uh-huh.
Well, what they're going to do is same thing that they do a la the MacBook. If you have an Apple Watch and you open up the MacBook, it automatically authenticates off the watch and unlocks your MacBook. They're going to do the same thing for phones. If you have an iPhone or if you have an Apple Watch connected to your iPhone, as long as they're, I don't know, whatever, close to each other, it'll
Tethered.
authenticate tethered. It'll authenticate through the watch and unlock your phone. Um, yeah, so I mean, I think it's pretty cool. Also in 14.5, it will also support the PS5 DualSense and Xbox Series X controllers for gaming and whatnot, which
Your
I think
phone
is
supports the Xbox controller?
it will.
Okay, so I
Just
can
it's an iOS upgrade. Yeah.
play something on this on a tiny screen with a big controller. Is
Hmm.
basically what you're saying to me?
Yep.
All right, great. I guess.
I mean I don't really game on my phone too much, but yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
that's
mean for
sure.
those that do the touchscreen controls are terrible. So for something like that or like emulation games where you're playing like
Uh-huh.
a SNES game on your on your phone as opposed to using the screen buttons, now you can have an extra controller, which I think is pretty nice. Past that, that's really all I got. Oh, they're redoing the Tesla Model S. They're redesigning it, and they actually have a feature that'll automatically switch between drive, park, and neutral, or not drive, park, neutral, and reverse.
What?
Yes. So basically, Elon Musk is saying that because of the way that the camera system is on the Teslas, they're able to see like, hey, you just backed out of a parking spot, so the car is going to automatically go ahead and switch into drive for you, so you don't have to do it. You can then you can also override the touchscreen controls and put it in drive yourself. So there will always be an override option via the touchscreen, but yeah,
Nah, wow. I don't know. Okay. Wow. I don't know how
it makes
much
sense, but
well it's
it sounds like there's a lot that could go wrong.
yeah. There's yeah. No, I don't necessarily like that. Again, I'm somebody who wants to, even if I'm driving an automatic vehicle or an automatic transmission, I want to I need to put it into gear. I want to feel the lever when I put it into gear that it goes chunk, and I can tell that I am now in a gear rather than trusting whatever else is going on. There used to be a thing, it's why there used to be laws on the books where like there had to be a mechanical apparatus that you had to use
Mm,
to, I know it was there for steering. That's why you didn't have drive by wire,
yeah, yeah.
because your steering column had to touch the steering box to touch the axles to turn the wheels in the front of the car.
Hmm.
You couldn't have, in case there was something that didn't, electronics failed or whatever, you know, so that you could always steer the car. I just assumed that there was something like that for a drivetrain.
Yeah, I would think so, but apparently, I don't know if maybe Tesla has a way around it because they're electric and not internal combustion. I have no idea.
That
But
is crazy.
speaking of Tesla and their redesign, they're coming out with another version of the Model S with a plaid powertrain. So the new Model S will start at $79,000, $79,990 for a long range dual motor version that gets 412 miles of range. Or you can spend $119,000 for the new one with the more powerful plaid powertrain that goes 390 miles with a sub 2 second 0 to 60. Or the plaid plus, which is 520 miles and starts at $139,000.
You realize sub 2 seconds is an F1 car, right?
It's ridiculous. Why do you need that?
I mean, listen, it's super cool that it can do it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I have the same issue with that as I do with the Dodge Demon.
Hmm.
Hey man, it's super cool, but you having a car that is now, you know, damn near 800 horsepower that you drive out of a dealership without having to go through ever being on a track or learning how to do anything. Man, that's scary as shit.
Yeah, the plaid and plaid plus versions will have a top speed of 200 miles an hour with the right tires. According to Elon Musk, The long range version tops out at 155.
I wonder if they'll have to govern it. Most cars in the U.S.
Are governed.
are governed, and they're usually governed around 155.
Yeah, 150.
I don't know if that is a regulation or if that's just like the gentleman's agreement that people have done. I mean, there's other cars that you can get that go much faster than that, I guess.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
jeez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
163. I mean, they're the new Model X, which is the SUV, starts at $89,990 for a long range dual motor, 360 miles of range, top speed of 155. An SUV with a top speed of 155 miles an hour.
Well, I mean, listen,
A
I'm
0 to
sure.
60 of 3.8 seconds.
Yeah.
Tesla is selling a version with the Plaid powertrain for 119,000. Also gets 340 miles of range and a top speed of 163. It can go 0 to 60 in about 2.5 seconds.
Uh, ah. Listen, I mean, you can probably tune a Tahoe to get close to that anyway. As far as
Yeah.
top speed wise, and probably not 0 to 60, but top speed wise, definitely. Just because they, most of them have like a big V8. So you can do, that one's not so big. When you start talking about a 200-mile-an-hour car,
Yeah, and I think
that's
that
where it's like,
I'm thinking that's going to be like a special unlock, like a track only version type thing. Because in the article it actually does say that it should be able to do multiple quarter mile runs
uh-huh.
before
It
needing
may
to
be
recharge, which I
yeah.
think the current ones now you can't do that many.
I mean, what was it? Who was it? It was Nissan. It was the GTR. Used to have in their navigation system, would have a mode that would only unlock once you were at a track.
Mhm.
Like their super mode or whatever, I don't know what they called it, but it would only unlock when you were within the geofence of a track.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know. In similar news, GM has stated that they are, by what is it, 2035,
32, I think.
they're gonna try and be all, no, I think it was later than that. They want to say 35 because I remember there being like a solid number. But yeah, they're gonna try and move to all electric at that point, which I think that is a horrible idea. That is not a smart idea in my opinion, to shift all manufacturing to all electric.
I think the misnomer with electric cars is that it's cleaner. Yeah, it's cleaner because you're not putting carbon in the air via driving, but you still are producing carbon based off of the way we're getting energy now. So it's not really that much cleaner.
Well, the other issue is that at that point you are dependent on the grid, right? You're dependent on the power grid, and a lot of
Good luck, California.
well, a lot of these, yeah, a lot of these grid systems are not,
They're not.
were not set up to handle the capacity that they have now, and pulling that much down to charge your vehicle is ridiculous. Also, it puts in that time, again, it's all about the range. It's like, oh, well, I mean, listen, Tesla's finally, they have a pretty good range. A 400-mile range isn't bad.
It's
But
good. I think it's really good.
well, sure, that's good. But how long do I have to charge the damn thing for once I hit 400 miles?
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Because I can go 400 miles in my car. Yeah, but I can do it I could refill my tank in the amount of time that it takes the liquid to get into the tank.
Yeah, 5 minutes you're at a gas pump, and then you can go for another 400 miles.
And I'm out.
Whereas with the electric cars, I got to sit there and charge it for 3 or 4 hours, so I can get another 400 miles out of it.
Unless you're at a supercharger, and then that's proprietary to Tesla. So GM can't charge it, that won't be able to do a quick charge at Tesla or whatever. There's a lot of, again, all of this stuff, it gets back into that kind of right to repair thing, and it's great for the car companies because they all go to, guess what, you've put out of business,
have to take it there.
All the mechanics, all your local mechanics and brake shops and all of that stuff, they're all gone because
hedge funds,
they can't Yeah, well,
Hedge funds, yeah,
they can't get into GM or Tesla or BMW or whatever their
because all their
proprietary
proprietary
software.
junk, yeah,
Uh-huh.
or their
I mean, and it,
certifications that are so expensive in order to be certified to work on these cars. A quick lube is gonna go, well, we're just not gonna do it anymore.
Quickly.
yeah, and it's one of those,
Whatever.
yeah, and it's like, how do you, and it could be one of those things where your car says, okay, it's been 5,000 miles since you've had an oil change. I can take it and maybe you can change the oil and put a new filter on, but you can't reset the ECU that has been saying that you haven't had an oil change,
Mm-hmm.
which could void your warranty
Mm-hmm.
unless you take it somewhere. Yeah.
Or they could, or because they're able to download junk to your car without like, yeah, sure, go ahead and download it. Or no, I'm going to skip this one. Yeah, I mean they could do that, and then they could also like, well, since you haven't changed the oil, we're just going to go ahead and limit your power and your range until you change the oil.
Until you come in here.
Until you come to the dealership and give us, pay us
freedom
X amount of dollars. Yeah.
So,
that's I'm gonna say that's all the tech news I got. I don't know what happened to my list of stuff that I deleted, but
we got some death news.
oh yes,
A little sad.
Not happy. Yes, just like oh yeah.
Yeah, easy.
I was like, oh yes, like no,
Yes.
that's not. I didn't mean it like that.
No, we lost Cicely Tyson, great singer. Been around forever, and yeah, great voice is gone. Today we lost someone, Dustin Diamond. Did I say his name right?
Yes.
What a sad, sad day it is. Screech. Sorry, man. Stay hard.
Screech from Saved by the Bell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Listen, it's weird
44
that
years
somebody
old.
that, I mean, yeah, he's a year older than I am. Apparently he had cancer and it came on
Quick.
bad and came on quick.
Yeah.
Part of me, listen, I'm sorry that the guy passed away, but apparently he was a complete and total jerk though. Like, and there's a lot of stuff, like he wrote tell-all books about his time on Saved by the Bell, and he was a stand-up comedian for a while, and a lot of his jokes and stuff were based on his years in the Saved by the Bell, and it was just all kind of, he was a real jerk about it. Yeah. Apparently in a couple of years, several years ago, he got into a fight at a comedy club and stabbed a guy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, stabbed a guy.
Wow.
So it is.
This is not your typical eulogy. So.
Yeah. Well, listen, I read the thing on. I read one of the articles about his death, and it was like, it was talking about the man. The manager said all this stuff, but usually it's like everybody has to point. Everybody says all the good things about someone's life when they pass away, all their accomplishments. He's one of those guys where you can't, even in death, you can't not talk about the bad shit that he had.
I mean, he paid his bills. He's a bill-paying son of a bitch. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what it's. Yeah, it's one of those
Bill
things.
Burr had a joke about something like that, where a guy lives his life and he's just a jerk the whole time. It's like, well, what are you gonna say at his funeral? Like, oh yeah, that Bobby, he really paid his bills.
Yeah. That's the thing where it was like, and wasn't he in porn at some point in time too?
Yes.
I'm just trying to remember.
Was he really?
I think so.
Yeah, he was. Slinging that meat. What? Another one that I'm going to go back and do some reviews on because of my new career as being a talk show host. Larry King. Yeah. 87 years old. He's like the ultimate professional interviewer, and I think I can learn a little bit of something from him. So yeah, Larry King, 87. And he's got a young kid too. I think maybe.
Does he really?
Yeah, maybe 5-7 years old.
Oh wow.
Young.
He was still getting it, huh? So, also in California, a section of California's Highway 1 collapses into the ocean after heavy rain.
Definitely.
So like I went to the picture and it's crazy. It's like you have a road and then there's no road and there's a huge chasm and then there's the rest of the road.
You said chasm. How much did you pay
Chasm.
for that word? That's a
Paid a
big
lot.
word.
That was
Sorry.
a
Paid a
college
lot.
word. That was a
That was yeah, definitely.
that
College.
was a that was a semester credit, a semester's credit in
Yeah.
English 101.
Yeah, yeah. Crazy stuff. And then what New York northeastern United States is getting like a ton of snow today apparently.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be up to 2 feet.
Yeah, 20 yeah, I read somewhere 22 inches. Yeah, 2 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
Crazy
Anything
world we
else?
live in. Nope. COVID. COVID took Larry King. I was just seeing that. I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
COVID
Yeah.
ruining everything. Go away. Go away. I'm bait.
Yup.
Yeah. Get the vaccine, people.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to. Weekends.
Weekends.
Sure, I'll go. This weekend we didn't really do much of uh anything. Again, it's a pandemic. We're staying in. And yesterday we went to the store, and on the way to the store, or actually while at the store, I damn near had a panic attack.
Why's that?
What happened?
Um, it was the weirdest thing. Like I had to sit back and figure out what triggered me. Um, Nothing major happened. We got in the car. We're headed there. My wife had been out, so she just swung by the house and picked me up. Jump in the car. She's driving. We're talking about nothing. Like we need toilet paper or we need whatever. Get carrots for dinner, whatever. And so I just have Facebook open and I'm scrolling, and
There's
I saw that the St. Patrick's Day, the Lower Greenville St. Patrick's Day parade has been canceled for
Mm.
2021. And I remember that was the first big thing I remember being canceled. I mean, like we knew that sports stuff was going down and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but everything happened in such a rapid succession, in mid March last year, that was the first thing I remember. And I was like, fuck, it's been a year basically for, in about 4 weeks or 5 weeks, it will be 1 year that we've been going through this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went to the store, and I didn't really think anything of it. And like we're in the store and we're by, and it was just one of those things where it just kind of, it just started a weird downward kind of spiral. And I couldn't, we were buying stuff, and it was like, well, we're fucking buying the same shit we always buy. It was just a bunch of stuff that happened. And I had to walk away. Luckily we were at Target. I told my wife, I was like, I gotta go, I gotta walk around. And she was like, okay, because she didn't know what was going on, because I couldn't tell her at the moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we just so I went over and I just like walked around the electronics section and walked around whatever, and we go to check out, and we're checking out, everything's fine. And she was like, well, do you want to go to blah blah blah? I said, I want to go home. And I before that, I had told, when I caught back up with her, I was like, hey, I need to, listen, whatever I'm going through right now has nothing to do with you. I'm not mad at you. I don't know what's going on. And she's like, okay, well, let's go, we can go have something to eat. And I said, we need to go home. I want to go home. Well, what if I'm like, I want to go home. And finally it was like, we got home, and I just had to sit and chill for a while, because, and process through what happened. And it was, I have, over the last year, I have really done my best to be a good citizen of the world and stay home and not go out, so that we can get through this stuff faster. So I am not contributing to whatever. And it's taken a toll. And it was the first time that I had really, in a long time, that I had felt just really out of control of everything. And it was just difficult for me to process through, or it was something I just had to process through, and I couldn't do it in that moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but I got home, chilled out, calmed down, realized everything is fine, realize that I'm on the list for the vaccine. Hopefully this stuff will be over soon. Once I'm vaccinated, I will feel much safer going out into public and continuing to social distance and wearing a mask, but I won't feel the need to stay in as much as I have. And that's the big thing, is that I've stayed in. You guys have been out. I know JT, he still did a lot of stuff with FYP and family stuff, and you guys go out or go to church or do whatever. And I'm not saying that I'm it's not, I don't think what you guys have done is bad. I'm just saying I've done less, so I've felt that kind of, and it's self-imposed.
Yeah, man.
So it is it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, well, once I'm vaccinated, we can get back out there. So
Well, I hope it comes soon because last week when I went to the doctor, she was mentioning that this mental health thing is no joke when it's coming to the coronavirus. Just how it's taking effect on people, and yeah, I couldn't imagine. I mean, as you said, my weekends are normal as they were before COVID. I wear my masks when I'm asked to, you know. But yeah, I couldn't imagine being in the boat that you are. I would not do well either. So I'm glad you made it through, man. It was panic
well,
attack.
I mean, it wasn't a full blown panic attack. I've had those really suck. It was, I was on the verge. I was had I not been able to catch it and center myself and get out of the place I was in the grocery store or whatever, it would have been a bad scene. But I was able to catch it and get it through, and next time I go to therapy, we'll talk about it and just make it through. But I mean, it's it's hard and it sucks, but we do what we have to. We do what we feel is right. So I've been doing what I feel is right for me and right for my family. And Sunday was the first time where I felt that where I really felt hurt by it.
Yeah.
So, well, and so in addition to that, week before this past weekend, so the last time we recorded, a friend of mine lost his girlfriend, passed away. Suddenly, unexpected, awaiting autopsy results. So, and that was one of the things that came through, is I saw like the parade had been canceled, and it was like, fuck, dude, I've lost people this year that I haven't gotten to grieve and mourn in a normal way. Whether from COVID or from cancer or from unknown things, or people that, because of the political climate, that I can't be around anymore because they've made themselves known as things that I don't. And it's just been a really tough year, and it just kind of all fell on my shoulders at once.
Yeah.
So
No, that definitely, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's tough, because also, yeah, when you sit and think about it, like, as we get older and, our parents are getting older, and it's like you start to realize we don't have a lot of time on this place. We don't have a lot of time on this planet. And, one wrong move or one, hey, I'm at the right place at the wrong time, it's our time to go,
yeah. Well,
and then to also not be able to, mourn or I say celebrate. I don't mean like, yay.
No, you don't experience. You don't.
Steve's dead. Not like that, but like
you're not
celebrate that they're
experiencing
not
grief
suffering
in the normal
anymore.
way. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and you're not able to grieve them normally. Somebody dies in another state, you can't go and visit them, but visit the rest of your family that's there and whatnot. And I think that's what, like, my sister being in California, I think that's one thing she's really afraid of. Like, dad's still somewhat going out and doing kind of what he wants. He hasn't lately. And I say lately being like the last 6 months he hasn't. But for a while he was like, yeah, I'm still going to go to church like normal. And my sister was like, what are you doing? Like, if you get sick, then, this is again, but way before they knew about a vaccine at the time, or they were still working on a vaccine and they hadn't come out yet. So, yeah. So for her, like, she did a lot of what I would say what Justin, what you were doing. She did a lot of that times 10. She didn't go out at all. If she didn't absolutely have to, she would go out for groceries once a week, and then that's it. She's not going anywhere else.
And that's been a lot of what I've done. It's like we'll make a weekly grocery trip, and that's when I would get out.
Yeah.
And it's and listen, dude, I'm a Gen X kid. I was a latchkey kid. I've been able to
Yeah.
weather this thing pretty fucking well. It was the one time where I felt the weight of the world on my shoulders. And it's not, and I was able to get through it, but mental health is something that I think that we have to be able to talk about amongst ourselves, amongst friends, and amongst,
Sure.
I mean, we have a little audience that listen to us, and especially for guys that listen to us, man, dude, you got to talk about your feelings with, if you don't go to therapy, talk about it with somebody that another guy that you're good friends with, that you can open up to about shit. Because if you let
And
that
not
shit,
just some guy that's going to co-sign with you.
yeah,
Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Like every now and then, yeah, you need somebody to rah rah and cheer on your side. But at the same time, you also need somebody that's just going to kick you in the junk and go, "Hey, dude, that was dumb."
absolutely.
Yeah.
But there's a big mental health crisis in the country, and the pandemic
It's
has
huge.
exacerbated it, just because we don't have the ability to get care or even recognize that we need care, or people that wouldn't have needed care now need it because of being quarantined or being stuck in and having to deal
Mhm.
with riots in the Capitol, and riots during the summertime because a cop killed a guy, and all sorts of shit. It's been a stressful fucking year.
Yeah.
And we have to understand that and know that we can talk about it with our friends, and they love us, and no matter what. Dude, Zoom calls have saved me. This podcast, talking to you guys once a week scheduled, I don't know what I would have been doing if I didn't have a release like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that was my fun weekend.
Right on. Good times.
I was gonna say, speaking of mental health, because I've also been inside like 90% of the week.
Mhm.
I've actually gone back to taking my so my doctor's prescribed was it Lexapro a while back, and it was just for seasonal stuff, being inside a lot in like wintertime and all that stuff. So now with COVID and being inside the majority of the time, and yeah, so for a little while, a couple weeks ago, I was kind of feeling, where my mood was just kind of like blah. Like I don't really care. Sure, that's fine. Yeah, whatever. So I kind of felt like that, and I was like, all right, you know what? That's to me. I was like, I need to start taking this stuff again. So I'm taking it. It's a low dose. It's like 10 milligrams, whatever the lowest dose is. So it's not super strong, but yeah. So I've been taking it. I actually need to get a refill on it.
And one of the
Friday.
things they say, well, sorry, as we are
No,
on the
no, go
subject,
ahead.
one of the things they say is the best antidepressant out there: exercise.
Sex.
Yeah.
And I know that you know, and it's one of
That's a
those
good
things,
one too, Scott.
and
That's a good one too.
it's one of those things where I'm not an exercise guy, and I'm gonna have to go out and find something that I enjoy doing that's out, that gets me my blood pumping and moving and stuff like that, so that I can help to regulate the chemicals that are in my body, because that's
You know,
what all that's
Sunshine.
for.
One of the things that we used to do was before it started getting dark at like, well, not now, but like before it started getting dark at like 5 o'clock, we would actually like, Shannon would come home with Isaiah and we'd go and spend an hour outside, just take a walk or eat dinner real quick and then go take a walk
Hmm.
before it got real dark. And like here lately, we haven't been able to do that because it starts like it's what, 6:50, 7 o'clock now, and it's like nighttime outside.
Yeah.
And I know that sucks for us as adults because, Justin, like you said, it's a way of getting at least a little bit of exercise and being able to enjoy mild weather when it's mild. And it sucks for Isaiah because he loves to be outside and like he wants to go outside, but yet it's like it's dark, it's cold. Like, you know, listen, buddy, we can't play outside right now.
Uh-huh.
And so I mean, I know he doesn't really understand as of yet, but yeah, it is one of those things that when you think about it, it's been tough. Like the last year's been completely crazy. In 5 weeks, like you said, I'll be working from home for a year straight. I've never done that before.
No, and I hate it, and I think you hate it too.
It's
It
not
is.
bad. I mean, it has its perks, but at the same time, I do miss being in the office. I do miss walking around the building on a break. I do miss seeing
stuff that
people
I
and being
miss,
like, "Hey, you were in my training class. What's up?"
the stuff that I miss is the in between stuff.
Yeah,
We work together, so I miss the going to lunch and talking to somebody,
yeah,
just about bullshit, about cars or TV show or whatever it is at a normal, or stopping for an hour to, hey man, look at this thing that I found on this website. Oh, that has nothing to do with work. Oh yeah,
yeah.
shit. Or the important stuff with work, like the meetings that happen after meetings,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like it's you and another guy that you work with and your boss have just been in a meeting with a bunch of clients, and you're walking out of the conference room and you have a 10-minute conversation about a direction that you now need to go because you're all on the same page. And instead it's like, well, now that Zoom call just ended, so I guess I know what I don't
Yeah, I'm
have
kind
that.
of on my own now. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
anyway, hit your weekend, bro.
So Friday I was off. So Friday when I had a doctor's appointment, I went to go get blood taken, and just like 2 little vials.
Uh-huh.
Vampires.
Yeah, vampires. Yeah, and it was just 2 little vials because going to a fertility specialist to see what's going on. So took Isaiah to go drop him off at school. After that, I went to Kraken Motorsports in Fort Worth.
Releasing the Kraken. I'm sorry.
Wait,
I don't know what's going on with me tonight.
So before you move on from that thing, there was a joke that I heard, or it was a meme or some shit, and it was about people trying to get pregnant.
Dang it!
And it's like, and it was all no, it's all about like, oh well, you're over at her parents' house and like, yeah, we're trying for a baby, and it's like, oh, that's great, and it's like, but really, in actuality, in a crude way to put it, it was like,
Mhm.
yeah, he comes inside me every night.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what the what?
Yeah, it's.
What?
I think it's such an awkward question. Like, are you guys trying? Like, yes, yes. Where I'm leaving it in at the end, making liquid explosion inside. Yes, that's what I'm doing.
Hey, we're pregnant. Hey,
It's
we're
awkward,
pregnant.
especially when it's like your parents. They're like, "So when's the next one?" I was like, "Guys,
So when is the
Listen,
next one?
I don't think you guys want to know that when we're having sex." But it's just all right.
Text him next time. Hey, I'm about to get down.
It's going down.
Listen, mom and dad, you got to stop calling me at night if you want a grandkid. I got work to do. I got to put in work.
Yeah, yeah. So I went
Well,
to
we were going, but now that I can't, anyway.
Whoops. Yeah.
Sorry, honey. Mom, dad
It
called.
was not a full power anymore. But so I went to Kraken Motorsports, talked to them about some powder coating options and custom fabbing intercooler piping for the car.
What are you powder
So I have
coating?
pricing on that.
What are you powder coating?
Intercooler piping.
Okay.
Yeah. And some other bits to match. So I got pricing stuff, information for that. I have to pick a color now, which is fine. Saturday, we had the Mighty Anvil podcast, and we had Davin Ward on, episode 5, 6.
Yep.
You're already fucking those episodes up. I mean, I get it. We've done over 100. You guys, you're in the single digits, and you're fucking that up.
I know. Yeah.
I think it's because I do.
Oh, it is 6 because we have as episode 0. Yeah, it is 6. Yeah. That's the one. Yeah. Okay. So we did episode 6 with Davin and going over week 3 of SoulCon. So next week we'll go over. Actually, this Saturday we'll go over Hell Week for SoulCon, and yeah, we'll have Frank Obringer on, so that's gonna be fun. And then there's a tough conversation we got to have there.
Elephanting.
Yes, elephanting.
You want to go into that at all? Because I'm just sitting here going, I don't know what you're talking about.
Elephanting we talk about elephanting in SoulCon, and it started because we were having the conversation at Rosa's Cafe, and this is not a conversation for young ears. Mm-hmm. So instead of using the word masturbation, we called it elephanting because it's talking about the elephant in the room, about men having, a desire to masturbate, and this is. Plug your ears, kiddos. But yeah, so it's a discussion about that and why it is looked upon as a bad thing in our faith and why and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's elephanting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm all for it. I think you should jerk it when you can and don't do it in public because that's real bad. So,
It's real bad.
you just take care of yourself when you need to take care of yourself. It saved many a marriage.
So, yeah, we're gonna have a conversation about that. And after that, on Saturday, we had Rudy's. Um, Came back home, had nap time. Was supposed to go to a kids clothing sale, but didn't end up doing the kids clothing sale. Well, going to the kids clothing sale because we didn't have time. We ended up talking to a realtor about just getting like some numbers, information on houses and all that stuff. So we had about a 45-minute conversation with him, just going over like, hey, here's what we make, or not here's what we make, but like, here's how much we have saved, and what our plan is, how big a house, what's the mortgage we want to look at, stuff like that. Just preliminary, like real basic numbers.
Who you
I
talking
did the
to?
same thing. Go ahead.
Who you talking to?
Jewel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I talked to one of the mortgage lending companies probably 2 years before I bought a house, and just said like, I just need to get information. I need to know what, they usually have a free consultation and whatever. And it was like,
Sure.
he was like, bring me your last 2 years of tax returns and this, that, and the other. And he was like, do you mind if I run your credit? And he was like, no. And so we talked about stuff, and he was like, hey, here's something that stuff that I didn't know. It was like, you need at least 3 credit cards. When you buy a home, they're looking for 3 pieces of credit that you have. It doesn't matter where they're from. He was like, when you get out of here today, go to a jewelry store. They will give you a line of credit. Usually it's $10,000 or $15,000. And buy a watch, buy like a $300 watch that you can pay off in a couple months, making these payments. And then you have credit. It was that kind of information that I needed. That's where I was told, if someone is going to be assisting you and give you money for a down payment on your home, you need to have that money in your account for 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months. Yeah.
For 3 months before you do anything with the house. Why? Because any large transfers of money, they're going to go back 3 months. And if they see money come in into your account, even if it was a parent or a gift from a relative or whatever, they will then need to go into that relative's account to make sure that it wasn't obtained in a bad way.
Drugs.
Drugs or
masturbation.
You knocked over a bank, or you jerked off
funding
for it.
Yeah, short funding. Yeah.
But it's like, you need to have that money in your account the whole time, or for 3 months before you do anything with it, which helped me out a lot, because my parents helped me with our down payment for my house. And it was like, okay, cool. And I had to explain, because my mom was like, well, I just want to write them a check. And I was like, you can't do that, because if you do, they're going to have to look into your accounts. Do you want these banks or these lenders looking into your information? She was like, no. Okay, well, this is why we have to do it. So anyway.
So actually, going back to that, I remember when we worked together, that was something that you had mentioned and Josh K had mentioned, about having 3 credit cards. So I have 4, and I was telling Jewel, I was like, there's balances on 4 of them, but they're all like under $600. So I was like, it's manageable. It's not like crazy. I don't have any of their like $10,000 or anything like that. So I was like, also on top of that, I was telling him like, here's how much we have saved so far. And I know that because we're both first-time home buyers, we should be able to get in with like little down. But he said like usually 1%. And in the program that they were going to put us on was the seller would end up paying the realtor fees and all that stuff. But again, he did say the more money you have to put down, the better. So so we have a good conversation about that. Had nap time after that. Sunday we went to Grace Point Church, and it was their anniversary service there, so we celebrated that. And then also a couple that has been really important to the relationship that Shannon and I have, were ordained as pastors at the church. So yeah, Mr. MVP himself. No, he's actually very, very well spoken. He's quiet, but very, very well spoken. And he is a fantastic leader. Like he's leading our men's group and always has a good word. to put in there. So I'm looking forward to uh, the Bible study that we have going on. We're reading a book called Fight, Winning the Battles That Matter Most. So I'll be reading that book along with some others. So yeah, that was pretty much the weekend. I had a Zoom call with Amy and my mom and my dad. Mom was at work, so
Working for that
yeah,
money.
yeah, that was the weekend.
The weekend from A to Z.
Oh, and my mom she's received a second vaccine, the second dose of the vaccine, and my dad received his first dose. So he goes back on like the 19th of February or something to get his second dose.
No tails.
No tails.
Okay.
No tails.
Let me know if that happens.
All right. Give me whatever they got.
Yeah, I want that. That's what I want. So for me, is it my turn? My weekend?
Yes, sir.
Right on. Friday. I didn't do much Friday night. Woke up, or I guess, prepping for waking up at butt crack of dawn Saturday morning and going to record the podcast. Woke up at that time that I just mentioned, and we recorded the Mighty Anvil. Went to what we're still calling Rudy's, even though it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
After that, came home, took a nap, got ready for my cousin's birthday party out at Irwin Park. We went out there, hung out by a campfire with a couple hours. I
Nice.
left early. But yeah, I know, back up. Whoa. Friday night, actually went to I Declare.
Yeah.
I haven't been to I Declare. Had the pork chop.
Good food.
Unfortunately, we didn't have the biscuits because we are doing SoulCon, but I've had the biscuits there before as an appetizer, and oh yeah, so
Good stuff.
I Declare. That goes back on Friday. So let's go back to the birthday party at Irwin Park on Saturday. Hung out there. There was probably maybe 10 people there. My cousin's birthday and a friend of his, Grayson. They had the birthdays, and after that, I left a little early, went home, took a shower to get the smoke smell off me, and went to Rock Creek Church for a men's event with Dan North, and we had Don and John Safar there that used to go to ELC, but now they go to Rock Creek. Hung out with them, had some barbecue outside, and
Nice.
played some games. They had an interesting face booty, or it was a game anyway. You'd watch a video, and is a person going to fall on their face? Is a person going to fall on their booty? Or is it going to be amazing? Face booty amazing is what it was called. And
Okay.
that was an interesting game. Then they also played a game of everybody standing up, turn left if it was a sports figure, turn right if it was a Star Wars figure. And they would name a name, and elimination by, y'all guess it was sports. And most of them were Star Wars fans. So
Nice.
came home, passed out about 9:30 because that was a long day. Sunday, woke up, went to Frisco Diner again. Yes, we came back. It's been a long time, been a couple weeks. What did I have? Oatmeal with strawberries. This SoulCon, I can't wait for it to be over. And a glass of water on top of that. Went to church. After church, went to 54th Street to meet one of Alan's friends.
Yeah, and I forgot about that meeting. Completely forgot. We went to Costco. Yeah.
Welcome to Costco. Love you. But yeah, talked with him about what he does for a living and kind of what I'm looking at doing and starting, and so got some good information. I had probably about a 2-hour lunch with him. Came home, 4 hours of audio editing for the Mighty Anvil, which that was frustrating. Learning how, Alan, you told me to edit on the laptop, and so I went from the phone and went to the laptop, and I'd start it, and then I'd do something, and it would all go away. So I'd have to start it again, it'd do something, and then it would all go away. But yeah, so then, when I got home Friday night, we watched what we'll talk about, Vision, WandaVision. That was a weird episode. Find out a couple of things. and then finish season 1 Sunday night with The Warrior. That's an awesome show, man. It's on Cinemax. Highly recommend that one. But starting season 2 on episode 3, and we'll get to that later. But yeah, that was my weekend. I'm ready for nap time right now.
All right.
Oh,
Anything
there was
else?
something else that I did.
Yeah.
There was something else I did. On Showtime, there's a we all like comedy and comedians and stuff like that. There is a special kind of documentary series on the Comedy Store, and it's called The Comedy Store. And
nice.
I watched an episode. I haven't watched all of them. I caught a YouTube clip of something, and so I went and watched it. And it was all in the title of the episode is Joe Rogan's Return, and it's all about it. Probably 50% of it is all about the Joe Rogan being banned from the Comedy Store back in the late 2000s because of he called out Carlos Mencia about stealing jokes. So very cool episode. Very gives a lot more detail about what actually happened with all of that stuff. I mean, if you're a regular listener to the Joe Rogan podcast, it may have some stuff in there that you've heard before, but it talks about how Joe Rogan, apparently he and Carlos Mencia had the same talent management company. And so his agent called him and said that he had to, he had to apologize to Carlos Mencia because Mencia was huge at that time. He had his own TV show. He had all of that stuff. And Joe Rogan was like, no, if you're asking.
Mind of Mencia.
He's like, no, I can't do that. And I won't. I can't do that. And I won't. I can't apologize to him. And if you're asking me to, then we can't work together anymore. So it was just really interesting. So if you like comedy and comedians and stuff like that, check out the documentary series on Showtime called The Comedy Store.
Right on.
Yeah, good one. I'm a big Joe Rogan fan.
So
yeah,
cool.
You guys want to take a break?
Let's do it.
Then we'll come back and talk about WandaVision.
Yeah,
Wanda. All right.
Lean meats.
All right. So I guess we're back.
Yeah.
We're back.
And we're back.
Tiny antibodies.
Tiny antibodies.
Yeah. So, WandaVision.
Are you caught up?
I am.
Nice.
Okay.
I'm gonna have my memory's bad. We're gonna go back to the episode 3 and then 4, right?
Yes.
Okay. Justin, I'm gonna let you kick it off and kind of refresh my memory, man.
Let's see. Episode 3. Wanda was pregnant. They were in color. They had turned color at the end of episode 2. It was a lot of it was this one was the most kind of sitcom like. I mean, the first 2 episodes had definite breaks within the show itself where reality kind of went away. You know what I mean? Or reality seeped in. Whether it was when in the first episode, it was when his boss was choking on something. In the second episode, it was you saw the toy helicopter with the sword emblem on it, and then when the neighbor lady who was kind of a bitch, the radio kind of came through, and they were asking Wanda, who's doing this to you? Yeah. And she broke her hand, or she broke a glass in her hand, and it was cut. And in the third episode, there wasn't a lot. Actually, there was a big one that a lot of people missed, and I missed it the first time myself. Vision came down and they were sitting on the couch. She's pregnant, and he was talking about like, hey, these, something doesn't seem right here. Something seems weird. And it immediately skipped back like 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And he walks back down to the couch and sits down, and they don't have that conversation.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was one of those things
because
where
wasn't it they went outside and she saw the guy come up out of the sewer and she goes no, and then it rewound.
that was episode
And
2.
that was okay. I thought that was 3.
No, and episode 3, and it's real subtle, and it's like he just kind of starts walking down into the couple of steps down into their sunken living room, and is saying like, this something doesn't seem right here, it seems kind of strange, and then all of a sudden he's back up at the stairs and he walks down and he doesn't say that, and it's like, whoa, what just happened here? She's pregnant.
Got goosebumps. What happened?
They go give she has a very sitcom birth, which was, she's behind a couch and a baby comes out, and it is the first one is Tommy and the second one is Billy, which are in the comics, those are the name of her twins, Tommy and Billy.
And they have those names are significant, right? One of them's Tommy, or Billy is her brother, right? Or no?
No, Pietro's her brother. Oh, in the MCU, Pietro's her brother. But anyway, so she has, that brings me up to the next big thing. So Vision goes outside and he sees Agnes talking with the neighbor Herb, and they're acting very secretive and weird, and he's asking what's going on, and they are talking about oh gosh, I can't remember what her name was. It starts with a G. No, it starts with a G.
Geraldine.
Yeah. Who is Monica Rambeau. So they're like, is Geraldine in there with Wanda? And like, she doesn't belong here. She's, she doesn't have a
home.
Well, that was the big reveal. Yeah, the big thing was like, she doesn't have a job. She doesn't have
and yeah, she wasn't married. That was the other thing. Yeah.
She's not married. She doesn't have a home. Or the big thing was she doesn't have a home. And as that's going on, Wanda is inside with Geraldine, and Wanda starts holding one of the babies and starts singing, but is singing in Sokovian, singing a lullaby to the babies. And Geraldine was like, oh, I can't believe they're twins. And she was like, I was a twin. My brother's name was Pietro. And Geraldine says, he was killed by Ultron, wasn't he? And then it was, Wanda did not like that, and Vision comes back in and said, hey, where did Geraldine go? And
she had to run out real quick. She had to go home.
She had to go home. And that's where it kind of ends. And then we start episode 4, and we go back to basically the beginning. And it is, I can't remember the character's name. Is it Wu?
Yes.
Yeah, Agent Wu.
He broke his legs and stayed up and just said, woo.
Yeah. No,
Archer.
So it starts out with, what was one of the coolest things was Monica Rambeau returning from the blip. So she reformulates. It was a reverse, we all saw Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah.
And everybody, the only thing they showed of the blip was like the band kids during a basketball game just like showed up, and it was, and it was like, it looked like a flash of light and they were back. Well, in this thing, it shows people, instead of turning to ash, the ashes kind of coming together and reforming these people. And she's in the hospital where she was sitting with her mother, who had just come out of surgery. And what a lot of weird chaos that was happening, because it wasn't a peace, everybody, what a peaceful kind of a thing for the, for people to come back from the blip or whatever. But no, man, it seems like it was a lot more chaotic,
Monica Rambeau, is that, well, what's her mom's name? Like there's, I ask, which one of those are in the, dang it, what's
Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel.
Well, they both are. So Monica Rambeau is a little girl.
Okay. And her mom is Captain Marvel.
And her mother was the fighter pilot, her friend that was the fighter pilot.
Gotcha. Okay.
Who is Photon. So it starts out with episode 4 starts out with that. We then go to Sword headquarters, where apparently Monica's mother was the director of Sword. When she passed away after the blip happened, um, some guy this guy took over, and he seems to. It's one of those things where he seems to be. They seem to be setting up him as some sort of a bad guy, just because he's too nice. Do you know what I mean? Anybody that starts up with "it's too nice" is going to be a bad guy. So they start out with. So they meet with him. He sends her out on an assignment. Apparently, she's her. According to him, her mother put in protocols if people ever came back from the blip, they couldn't like go back into like normal whatever active duty is. So he sends her out to Westview. So she goes up and meets with Agent Wu, who says that he's been trying to get a hold of a someone who's in witness protection, and that person, he started calling around. He couldn't find the person from witness protection, and then he started calling around to his known alias or to his known associates, and that person, and none of his old associates knew who that person is. Like complete blank. And then they talk to the police officers from Eastview, and the Eastview officers are like, there's no such thing as Westview. And they can, they're sitting there looking at it, and the police officers like, you're muted, bud. But the police officers, no, it's fine. I just saw you talking. But the police officers are like, what are you talking about? They're gone. There's no such place. So
You're
that's
like,
when they start.
You're from Eastview.
So they then go to the cops leave, and she tries to send in a drone, which is a little, looks like a remote control helicopter, and that thing gets sucked in. And so they go up and they walk up to the what seems to be this static looking like force field, and she gets sucked in. So there's where Geraldine comes from. They at the next thing that we see is the next thing we see are the uh, Darcy from
Thor.
from Thor,
Cat.
who was Kat Denning. So Darcy, she's there. She's now a doctor of astrophysics, and they go in and they're trying to figure this thing out. She's the one that figures out that it's TV signals. They have a big base of operations around everything. They're watching the episodes as the episodes are happening. They Darcy notices, so the stuff that we've seen, or they go through and they do the they take care of the, or she has Wu send out the message for Wanda, who's doing this to you. But they don't see anything on the screen because it looks like that part's edited out. It looks like it's just a jump cut from there. We then go to so basically this is following the outside universe or the outside world for the last 3 episodes of what was taking place and what was happening. We see that the guy who was in the beekeeper suit was just a guy that was in a hazmat suit that they sent through. Don't necessarily really know what happened to him after the fact. So
this is all Wanda building this imaginary place,
that's
right?
what it looks like, because at the end of the episode we get to see what happened to Wanda and Geraldine from an outside perspective and not within the sitcom itself. And seeing that Wanda pushed her out, her powers come up in full form, and she pushes her through like 4 or 5 walls and a fence and out of the thing, and Monica is now laying on the ground, and her first words are, "It's Wanda. It's all Wanda."
Do you find it?
Because even on the outside, where Kat Denning's character, I forget the Darcy,
Uh-huh.
when she realizes they're at the TV that they need to watch and they're to see what's going on, they all see Vision and they're like, "Isn't he dead?"
And she said that it was like, he's dead, right? This wasn't part of he wasn't part of the blip. He's
Yeah,
dead.
yeah.
And then we see, going back after, the very end thing, is we see Wanda in the living room, and
Vision comes back in
Vision
and
comes back
says,
in and is
"Hey,
like,
where's Geraldine?"
and she looks up and she sees
Dead Vision.
the corpse of Vision, or what, I don't know what to call
So
that
she's
version of
hanging
him.
out in her imagination with a corpse.
Yeah, possibly.
Creepy. I thought it was interesting how the necklace that was shown.
Yeah.
Kat was reviewing it. It was like, hey, there's something missing here. She rewound it and it's like that section where Wanda asks her, "What's that?" That whole section was gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is all kind of pointing to Morbius. Is that
Mephisto.
Mephisto? Sorry. Oh, Morbius is the other. Okay, yeah,
Spider-Man.
So I think a lot of it is, who knows where it's going to go, but I think that my guess is, since Mephisto is the devil in the of the MCU for the most part, or for Marvel Comics, I think that Wanda, he somehow got in contact with Wanda. I think that he is the witness from witness protection that just went missing,
Mm.
and no one knows who it is anymore. So if the devil is on Earth, or dealing with Earth people or whatever, what's the line from The Usual Suspects? The greatest trick that the devil ever pulled is convincing humanity he never existed. So I think that Mephisto somehow did something and got himself put into witness protection to be close to Wanda, and somehow has made a deal with her to bring Vision back and give her her life back. And she's doing all of this reality warping stuff, but there are ulterior motives behind it,
Hmm.
and we don't
Okay.
know what those are. So in the comics, the whole thing with the twins were that they were part of Mephisto's soul that he had to then reabsorb to become more powerful, or to become more whole, or whatever. So not really sure where it's going to go in the thing, but this it was such a great uh episode. I love the scene where Wu is like whiteboarding stuff down, and it was a bunch of questions that I've had. It was like, is Vision alive? What's with the hexagon patterns? What's with the this? What's with the that? I thought it was really, what a great way for these writers to be like, we know that we've planted these seeds out there, and these are the questions you're going to ask, because we've made them subtle enough that those that are paying attention should see these patterns. So now we can figure it out. So yeah, I thought that was really ingenious writing. So I can't wait. God, I want them all. Just give them all to me right now.
yes, it is kind of tough. We have to wait until Fridays.
How many episodes is WandaVision?
It's 8 or 10, I think. I want to
Okay.
say 8. I
Wow,
think it's
we're only
supposed to
on
be,
4. Nice.
because it's not, I mean, the way that I'm understanding this is not going to be like, this isn't going to wrap up. Do you know what I mean? This is supposed to lead into a movie, which I believe is Doctor Strange. This
Okay.
is going to, so we're going to get enough answers to where it leads directly into the movie.
The next Doctor Strange.
I think that's what it's supposed to be.
Oh, do you think
Okay.
Doctor Strange is going to be either at the movies, or is it going to be released on Disney?
No, I think it's supposed to come out 2022,
No,
if I'm not mistaken.
COVID's not going
So
away.
No, I think it'll be in the movies. I think we'll have enough people vaccinated by then that hopefully they'll be back open. But if not, then I think they'll probably follow the I think they'll follow the lead that um HBO and Warner Brothers has done, and they'll start releasing things,
Tandem.
in tandem, because I think the next one that's supposed to come out is supposed to be Black Widow, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But that was supposed to come out in the summer, and I don't know what they're going to. They may push it out. I don't know. I don't know how long they're going to hold on to it before they start pushing stuff out. So, but no, it's really cool. It's what's really neat is like trying to find a timeline. So all of this stuff is supposed to happen. So all of the stuff in Avengers Endgame happened in 2023,
Okay.
because like all of the stuff that happened like 5 years later, that put it in the year 2023. So I don't know how long they're going to plan on pushing this stuff out before before we're not. I don't know if they're ever going to try and get us synced up in the timeline again,
Hmm.
you know
Interesting.
because so Endgame happened in 2023. Spider-Man Far From Home happened in summer of 2024, and then this would put, so Monica Rambeau came back to, let's see, Monica Rambeau came back to uh went back to Sword 3 weeks after she came back, 3 weeks after the blip. So we'll see, so this is all happening in like summer, fall of 2023. So is this a trailer for
Yeah, for Doctor
trailer
Strange.
trailer concept?
Yep. Oh, is it a concept? I thought it was
Well,
released.
I'm just reading the thing
Oh,
at the top. It said Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse teaser trailer concept 2022.
I hate these things. I don't ever know if it's the actual trailer or if it's something fan created. So,
I think a lot of this stuff is fan created, because I don't think anything has come out specifically other than they have a name for it.
gotcha.
But the guess is that Wanda may play a big part in the multiverse of madness, as she could be the big bad in that one, because she's so powerful within Marvel Comics. She's extremely powerful, so I think they're going to show how powerful she really is within the MCU.
Yeah, she started off as a villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then within a year or something, she joined uh, the Avengers.
Yeah, it was all around all around Ultron. Um, they were they had a big thing against Stark, and because his weapons were what killed her parents, um, or killed their parents, and then they started to work with Ultron, and found that Ultron was even worse, and they decided to, because he picked up the city and was going to drop it on the earth to kill all of the humans. So
Another thing that I found out at first, it, it was her understanding that Magneto was her father,
um
and
well,
then
in the comics, Magneto is her father.
okay,
Yeah, it's she and Quicksilver, who are twins, which is Pietro in the MCU. Their father was Magneto. They didn't, when Ultron came out, they didn't have, I mean, all of the X-Men were with Fox, which Disney now has. So they could go back and make Magneto her father if they introduce the X-Men somehow. I don't know. There's a lot of speculation of how things could come about, but
one of my favorite things was Quicksilver in X-Men and Quicksilver in Avengers. Those two guys were in the two guys in what is it? Bad. Dang it! Help me out.
they're in Kick-Ass.
Kick Ass. Yes, dude, I love that
Are
show.
they?
and
Oh,
neither one of them were the lead in Kick-Ass. They were his buddies.
No,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they weren't. They were Kick-Ass's friends. It wasn't the guy who played Kick-Ass.
oh man.
Check me on that. I think that I'm right on it. But yeah, they were both in.
Yeah, the guy that played Kick-Ass was Fogel,
No,
right? From. Are you sure?
no,
I thought it
yeah,
was.
he was the villain in the second movie.
Oh,
McLovin was
okay.
the villain in the second movie. He was Red Mist in the second movie.
Yeah, but. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say Kick-Ass was DC Universe. That was who quick. Hang on, I'm checking IMDb right now. So we got Aaron Taylor Johnson, who played Kick-Ass. He is the Quicksilver in. No, dude, looks like him. The Wall, Avengers. He's the Quicksilver in Avengers. So Kick-Ass is him. His friend in Kick-Ass was Wolverine, I say Wolverine. I'm just looking at Wolverine right now. It's so confusing for me. His friend was the Kick-Ass. His friend in Kick-Ass. Use your words, Scott. Was the Quicksilver in X-Men. Ooh, that was tough for me. That was, pardon me. Daddy needs a nap.
Understood. No, but we'll have to. I'm very curious to see how everything goes out. I think it's so good. I'm so happy with. I mean, the fact that this is the first MCU stuff that we've had in over a year is, makes it very cool to go through. And there are so many, because media is so slow to roll out now. All of like the YouTube channels I watch that do like theory stuff or whatever, they're really getting to like deep dive into this stuff. So I watch like New Rock Stars, and so they would have like a weekly hour-long show on The Mandalorian, and they would do now they're doing like a weekly hour-long show on WandaVision. So it's nice for the nerd in me to be able to sit and digest and watch all of this stuff without having to have like, oh, now this other movie's coming out, so we can't do anything. Now this other thing's coming out, so we can't do something. So it's really cool.
All right. Good stuff, man.
Shall we do the wheel? The wheel
of questions.
We want the sound here. Let's go. Let's go with this. Oh, that's not it. It's this one.
That's not the wheel.
That's not the wheel. There we go. All right. Who wants to bring us in on the wheel?
All right. Justin, you want to do?
Sure. So guys, if you want to send us any questions, please send them to our email address, which is Alan.
It is theweekend@gmail.com.
And just title it question for the wheel or something like that. You can ask whatever you want. We will vet it out. If you're watching this on YouTube, just leave us a comment with a question that you want asked. And once we get those in, we will put them on the wheel with your name. And if it comes up, we will shout you out. Thank you so much. Spin that wheel.
Thank you, sir. Oh, we got a good spin
Let's
this
make
week.
a deal.
Would you rather every shirt you wear be kind of itchy or only be able to use one square of toilet paper?
Itchy shirt.
Itchy shirts.
Yeah, I don't think there's even an option going on for one square of toilet paper. I don't know if I can fold that in quarters enough to where it's not going to be an issue.
Well, listen, how many times? I mean, listen, I can't imagine going into like an office building, because for some reason office buildings don't think that anybody poops in there, and you can hold up the toilet paper to the light and see everything through it.
Mm-hmm. That's some thin paper. Since this was a real quick question, I don't know if we've ever talked about this before, but listening to another podcast, they went over the Are you a back to front or a front to back kind of guy? Alan's shaking his head.
Because I know the answer. You savages have. That's why I'm shaking my head.
No, I'm a front to back.
That's the correct way.
I'm a front to. Well, I'm a front. I don't use. We don't use traditional toilet paper, so there's no like balling it up or whatever. We use wipes.
Okay.
So I do a good back to front.
You mean front to back?
I'm sorry. I do a good front to back.
Yes.
I fold it in half so it's all clean with the prize inside.
The prize.
And then I do another front to back. And I'll fold that in half so it's now a quarter. And I do a cleanup of middle to back. Yeah, middle to back.
Up. Yeah.
So, Alan, you're saying you're a front to back guy?
Yes.
Okay. I will tell you, I am a back to front guy. And it's a skill. Why? Because there's a lot of hesitation from a lot of people when they hear this. Why do you think?
I wonder why.
Why? Because there has to be at some point in time, and maybe it's a small percentage, but there is a percentage of the time
Where the
you get shit on your balls.
I can tell you that's never happened.
Never
happened.
In the entirety of your life. It's
Where's
never
Tammy at? Let's ask her.
I don't know that she would know, but yeah, no, it's a talent. It's not, you're not pulling it, you're scooping it. It's one of these, so it's never moving past the taint.
Okay, I kind of see what you're getting at.
And I challenge you, if you were to say that you would get it on the balls, why wouldn't you pull it up on the ass crack of the plumber? Why, you know what I'm saying? So if you're going to pull it that way, well, you're saying that by your theory that you're actually pulling it up and it's going to leave some skid marks in the back.
Well,
right?
I mean, it's not a marker. You're not going all the way up your back.
Well, no. I'm just going.
You're not? Am I doing it wrong?
Wait, nobody does it that way?
It's not the tramp stamp, guys. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, I'm just saying there is a skill to it, and you know, everybody each their own. I have a hard time reaching around to doing that. I'm a lot more comfortable. I don't have to stand up or anything like that. It's already cheeks are spread for me. Yeah, you should give it a try. It's a scoop.
Nah, I'm good.
How's that move go again?
I'm gonna say let's see. I am 43. I'm not sure when I was potty trained.
I'm not going to train it. I'm not going to change it.
I will say I was potty trained at 2 years old. We'll say that's an average. So for 41 years, I've been holding my own.
Gotcha.
I'm good. I don't need to.
Don't fix what's not broke.
This is something I'm okay being stubborn with. Yeah. Okay. I will die on this hill.
All right.
I will say that there is something that I have found. Apparently, there are. I'm sure you guys have heard of the brand Dude Wipes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can go onto Amazon and they sell singles in packets.
Oh.
So you get a couple of those and you throw them in your work bag, and maybe you put one in your wallet. So when you're out and about, you don't have to use the transparent toilet paper that you can.
The nylon stocking of toilet papers. Yeah.
So that is something that I have started doing. And they also at at Target, I've only seen it at Target, but I'm sure they have it at other places where they have like the travel size, toiletries and stuff. You can get some like Cottonelle stuff like that, and it's like a 10-pack, and I'll have one of those in my bag as well, because
you never know.
I
would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
No, I would rather just have it and use it and keep it as a normal supply in my bag, rather than having a breakthrough with the
breakthrough
with the toilet paper.
Yeah,
because
that's the worst.
it's just why office buildings? Why can you?
In
Why
this
can you?
day and age, I can understand, sure, maybe the 1950s it was like that, but now, like 2021, we're still using single ply toilet paper in the office. Why?
Just
I understand that it's cheaper. Just go get the Cottonelle, somebody.
yeah, just get
Just
Cottonelle.
buy the Bears.
Of
Yeah,
all the
it's going to cost a little
services
bit more, but
of all the services that companies provide, there are companies that provide lunches for their employees. There are
Mhm.
companies that provide
Just
soft drinks and snacks for their employees.
and dry cleaning, on-site dry cleaning. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a
How
bank
about
inside the building. We've got a small mart, but there's still single ply toilet paper in the bathroom.
you get rid of the dry cleaning, and we have to find our own dry cleaners, and you get me good Cottonelle. I
I
would.
just it's a little embarrassing, but I do keep a roll when we were at the office. I'll keep a roll in the drawer. I mean, it's obvious what I'm going to go do. I kind of sneak around to the bathroom when I'm carrying that roll, but I don't know. What are y'all talking about? I just need to blow my nose or something. And let's add. I got another question for you guys. When on the road and on a road trip,
Uh-huh.
and you have to pinch,
You got to go.
yeah, you got to go, and there's no way. What do you do? Number two. What do you do with the number
Just
two?
I just go. I will find the
Do you have a
cleanest looking gas station truck stop that I can find, and you just go for it.
Bucky's, right? Bucky's highly
Buc-ee's.
on the top of
Bucky's
the
is
list.
Bucky's is great. Flying
It's
J's
top of the
usually pretty
list.
good.
Racetrack.
Racetrack's good. So yeah, I mean, that's if I gotta go, I gotta go. It's one of
What-
those things that I'm not gonna try and, if it's an emergency, it's an emergency. And there have been times when I've been on the road and it's like it's gonna be a photo finish, and I gotta stop at some janky looking hole in the wall, and at that point, you just pray that you
Let
didn't
me
catch something.
let me add something to your list of where to go. Hotels. Just walk in the front door, act like you know where you're going, and just go to the restroom there. Those are usually 99% of the time spectacular bathrooms.
Yeah, hotels are good.
It's a PA for everybody here.
Restaurants are good. Like if it's like especially like a good like a chain restaurant, you know what I mean? Like a Chili's or an Applebee's or
Really?
something
I've
like
never had
that.
success in those places.
No, they've been pretty good.
They're usually okay. They're
Usually
usually
pretty
okay.
good.
I mean, they're better than any fast food restroom I would.
This is true too.
So I would
Yes.
rather go to some place like that rather than go to
Taco Bell.
to a
Oh,
McDonald's
especially
or
Taco
Taco
Bell.
Bell or whatever. So
Well, weekenders, there was your PSA announcement for the week.
absolutely.
Yeah. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to email us at theweekenda2z@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facegram and Instant Book on the internet at A to Z Weekend. Past that, anchor.fm/A to Z Weekend, where you will find all 11 locations for our podcast.
All right, guys, we will see you on the flip flop.
Pow pow.
Welcome to Costco. I'm giving it back to you. I love you.